padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavam Sacha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijanasaitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakanvatam Sacha Om Ajnanathmirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah Guru Abhishta Sapurakam Guru Ganayarashisa Sambhushitam Chinta Chinta Samastvedanapunam Shri Rupa Panthanugam Govindabhidam Ujjalam Vartanam Bhaktyanamitam Sundaram Mande Vishwaguruncha Divya Bhagavat Premno Hibijabradam Devam Divyatanum Suchandravadanam Balarkachelanchitam Sandrananda Puram Sadik Varnam Vairagya Vidyam Buddhim Shri Siddhanta Nidhim Subhakti Lasitam Saraswatanam Varam Vandetam Shubhadam Madeka Sharanam Nasiswaram Śrīdharam Shri Siddhanta Saraswati Tividito Gauriya Gurvanvaye Bhato Bhanuriva Prabhat Gagne Gaura Sankirtanay Mayavadati Mingilo Daragatan Udhritti Jivaniman Krishna Prema Sadabdika Sukham Pradata Prabhum Tam Bhaje Namo Gaura Kishoraya Bhaktavadhuta Murtaye Gaurangra Padma Bhrangaya Radha Bhavana Shevine Mande Bhakti Vinodam Shri Gaura Shakti Swarupakam Bhakti Shastragya Samrajam Radha Rasa Sudhanidim Gaura Vrajashitashe Shaira Vaishnaveira Vanda Vigraham Jagannatha Prabhum Vande Premabdhim Riddha Vaishnavam Mancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhaivacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah Panchatattvatmakam Krishnam Bhaktarupa Sarupakam Bhaktavtaram Bhaktakyam Namami Bhakta Shaktikam Namo Mahavadannaye Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namane Gauratuse Namah. Sashtang Dandat Pranam to all the exalted Vaishnavas, devotees, servitors of Srila Gurudev, Srila Bhakti Sundar Govind Dev Goswami Maharaj, and Param Guru Maharaj, Srila Bhakti Rakṣhak Śrīdhar Dev Goswami Maharaj, serving worldwide. Welcome to our Friday evening Sangha, and to our friends and well-wishers as well as seekers. You're welcome. Our Hardik Namaskar, obeisances. I have our divine panelists. Let me bring them on. Dandat Pranam and welcome Shripad Chinmayadev Prabhu.
Dandavat Pranam.
And Dandat Pranam and welcome Shripad Arun Krishna Prabhu.
Dandavat Prabhu.
Arun Prabhu, your visual is burning out a little bit. If you could, yeah, I know you're super bright. But if you could kindly turn down the light a little bit. There, better. Okay. So we're going to be taking up the chapter 2 of The Golden Staircase. That's the publication that we're reading. And we shall begin. The title of the chapter is The Eye to See Sri Guru. So whenever you're ready, please let me know and then I can begin. All right. Okay. So this time, Arun Prabhu, I did include that link to the online publication. So
I'm using it.
Oh, okay. All right. Devotee. We are often told regarding the Guru and the Shishya, disciple, that if the Shishya is not successful in becoming a completely pure devotee in this life, then the Guru will return by taking another birth. But does the Guru personally take another birth? Śrīdhar Maharaj. The relationship must continue. Whether that particular soul who was delegated as the Guru in the previous life will personally come, whether he will again be sent or not, there is no guarantee. But in any case, the disciple will maintain his awareness of that higher connection. He will recognize it just as it was in former stages, although it may be in a different form. It will not be unknown to him. And he will also perceive that I am not unknown to my master. But the Guru's external form may not be similar. Suppose a disciple takes his next birth in a particular country or a particular sect. The Guru may also appear in a particular country or a particular sect. But that the disciple will again come exactly in the same position as before, that may not be. And that the Guru will also come as he did previously in that fixed position, that also may not be. But they will be able to recognize one another. The Guru will know about the disciple's previous life, and the disciple will also think he knows everything about me. With such broadness of vision, we are to look at our Guru Maharaj. So Guru Tattva means it is Sakshad Haritvain. Not only the person, but the person plus something more. And that arrangement is made by the Lord or His Swarup Shakti. But whatever the external circumstance, there will be no disturbance regarding the path for the disciple. A quick pause here. I would just like to submit to you that I find in this opening statement and this initial exchange of the dialogue between the inquirer and who's a devotee and Srila Param Guru Maharaj is he's trying to point out the functionality aspect, the eternal function of the Guru Tattva, rather than the external attributes, which may differ according to space, time, and other circumstances as such. But the function of that energy, delegation of the Lord and His Swarup Shakti, is to be able to advance the disciple. So as function, you can kind of pinpoint that is the function. So the person who is seeking to grow and that other personality or other principle who is trying to guide as and take them to a higher level of understanding and deeper vision, they will recognize each other. And this would depend on the urgency of how urgently one wants to learn and how urgently one wants to develop a finer vision. So as Tatastha Shakti, the Guru could be delegated constitutionally as anyone. So delegation means that you can have a highly energized Tatastha personality, a Tatastha Shakti, as constitutionally They might be, but they've been energized and then they can function as the Guru Tattva. Hmm? Or they could be just pure, just plain Jane higher energy. So, but Guru Maharaj is saying, but instead of getting into that part, which may not be apparent, you should concentrate on the functionality aspect of your growth, if it's happening or not. And that's where sincerity also comes in for the disciple. Those who are sincere and they join Param Guru Maharaj and Gurudev's Mutt for the right reasons, they will always be taken care of. But those who come here for the wrong reasons or for some purpose, they lose that vision, then they will be lost. So many other things will attract them, and then they will lose that thread, that connection. And so that functionality aspect they'll lose. They'll be like, there's nothing. That's practical. It's not something theoretical. Any reflections or any comments, anything comes to you, please.
I've seen in many sampradayas in India, this is consistently conveyed, that look at the message, not how and when it came about. Look at the substance.
We are not to change that focus that we had, that inward focus of how do I improve, and how that wanting, that hankering. Guru Maharaj, in his utter humility, is he literally told everyone that I am a student. And we all know his position. I mean, literally, but his internal thing is that I'm a student. So are we to take it that he's lightly saying that to us? All these acharyas and all these great personalities, when they sing or when they compose, are they, when they are showing their utter humility, I don't think it's made up. I don't think it's lip deep. I think it's coming from extremely the deepest of the deep core of their hearts. Those sentiments are divine. But to us, it's self-abnegation to that level it seems impossible to us, and it seems just unreal. But we need to strive for those kind of standards. Those standards are so that we always strive for them, rather than make a mockery of this, the whole situation. That is really, really bad. And everyone can see it happening around, but anyway.
Well, Prabhuji, but also see all our Guru works. They are truly the Acharya. By Acharan, they are trying to teach their disciples how to behave. The humility abject humility needs to be taught and is more easily conveyed by showing by practice.
Yeah, well, anyway, so let's start the next question. Devotee, I don't know if this is correct, but I have heard it said that if the disciple is not spiritually successful, then the guru may not return back to Godhead, but may remain in this Brahman universe. He may not return to Krishna until the disciple can also go. Śrīdhar Maharāj. If that is the case, then no guru can ever return to Krishna at any time. Because the continuation of the disciples will go on, so he will have no final result at any time in his life. But we cannot think that it is so. Sometimes he may be deputed himself, or others also may be deputed in that case. But the inner instruction, inner feeling and paraphernalia will be such that in any case the disciples will have no trouble. The officer may change, but the function will go on smoothly. Okay, I didn't read this before, but here, function. So he's pretty much said it. The function will go on smoothly. So the guru may return, the Nam Guru, the Mantra Guru, Sannyas Guru, they are all gurus, but we must recognize something similar in them. And hence, we are given the statement about the ontological aspect of Guru. Sakshad Haritvena Samasta. I myself appear as the Guru, who is simultaneously and inconceivably one with and different from myself. Krishna says, Acharyam Mam Vijaniya. You should look there for me. I am there. I am your Guru. With my different types of Shakti, by the Jiva's recruitment or by any other way, it is my function to take you up to a different place. In every case, I am there. I am there in the Madhura Rasa Shakti or Sakha Shakti, Sakha Rasa Shakti, my Vatsalya Rasa Shakti, Dasya Rasa Shakti. And in a general way also, sometimes one may be recruited by the Ramanuja Sampradaya and then be converted to join the Krishna Sampradaya, the Gaudiya Sampradaya. That is also possible. We are to remember the eternal link. So our focus is, welcome Anilji, namaskar.
Hare Krishna, sir.
Hare Krishna.
Namaskar.
So the eternal link is the important aspect of the principle of Guru Tattva. Like yoga, yoga is also a sort of a link. And then a link to that principle who will tell us how to link to the ultimate reality. So it's distinct, and this link is more essential than any other link for the disciple. And then Param Guru Maharaj is ultimately stating that what is that litmus test? It's Yogeshwar Krishna. In some way or form or in some subtle ways and means, we will be able to see him. That is seeing. When we get so attuned to being able to perceive that function, then we will also see him. Because he is there, Acharya Mama Vijaniyan. Na manyeta karhichit. Na murta buddhaya suyet sarvadeva mayo guru. Don't think it's an ordinary mortal. Because we see a body. Someone asked that question, how we talk about a spark and it seems impersonal. That is again part of our misconception, because we are thinking that a body is a person, is a complete personality. A physical body is complete. And anything else, any other attributes are much less important. So physicality is prime for us to define what a distinct personality is. So look at our definition and parameters of actually putting a personality. Like, okay, he's a body, so he's a person. Just see, I'm just trying to, kind of put forth in front of you folks. You're much brainier than I am, but this is what comes to the mind, and mind is universal. It's a universal thing, really. If you look, mind is actually a universal concept. So it comes to the mind, a body, and then everything else, well, we don't know. So in that case, if let's say we say here's an individual, he can be in more than one place at the same time, then it won't connect. Then we will, how is he a person? How is he an individual? It's kind of impersonal. That's our vision. Just see how limited our capacity is to even try and understand what a personality is, the conception of a personality. Whatever is visible to this eye, that object, that is a person. So how can we be a student of the conscious plane, of subjectivity? So to see Guru, then you just see a body. Therefore the Lord is saying, Acharyam Mamajana, na manyeta karhichit, na marta buddhaya suyet. Don't think it's just simple physicality, please. Don't just look by the eyes of the flesh. They will deceive you. They will take you down. But we continue to do that. Namaskar, welcome. Dandavat Pranam, Nandarani Didi.
Dandavat.
Okay, so the next section reads Divine Unfoldment. Devotee, here's a question. So if someone says that the Guru himself would personally come back, that is a mundane conception, a wrong conception? Śrīdhar Maharāj. Yes. The main thread is there, but it will not always appear in the same form. Although to the beginners, one may say that he will come back, ultimately we find that a disciple may even be transferred into another section and then another section so that he may gradually reach his destination. According to the unfolding of his inner necessity, the departmental change may occur, and he will always perceive his own guru in newer and newer ways. At first sight, he perceived his guru to be of one type. Then again, with progress, he will see the same guru in another way, and thereafter another new characteristic will be found in his Gurudev. The disciple will feel, I could not detect so much in my Guru in the beginning. I saw him in one particular way, but now I find that he is something more, and there he is, and then he is still more. In this way, there is divine unfoldment. In this world, there is unfoldment, and in the higher domain also there is unfoldment. So, Avesh, the Guru is something like Shaktavesh. There is the chance contingency, Shaktavesh, who is deputed according to a particular time, place, or circumstance, and there is also the permanent Shaktavesh. But in all cases, according to the necessity of the situation and by the divine dispensation of the Lord, the disciple will be connected and he won't feel any distrust. It is the presence within. He will quench the thirst for the full progress of his heart. There will be divine unfoldment within his heart. And again, he will begin a new thirst. And that new thirst will be quenched by whom? His Guru. It will be quenched by his Guru, and he won't have any feeling of unscrupulousness or anything else. As his internal thirst is being satisfied, he will feel, there is my Gurudev. Wherever there is unfoldment, gradual unfoldment, and full attention given to that, then we can understand that from the upper side there is Guru. Gurudev is my guide. And as I progress, guidance of different types will be necessary for me. Always new guidance. And my progress will take me into different places. And there a new type of guidance, a new life will again come. In this way, dynamic life is going on. And the main thread is there. Raso Vaisa. The pure rasa. Pure ecstasy. And my inner heart will approve, yes, I want this. This is my fate. This is my fortune. Otherwise, if any Madhyamadikari is appointed as Guru and has so many disciples, and if he is to come back again and again, then he could never enter into Nitya Leela. But that cannot be so in any case. Whoever is connected with a genuine Guru will be satisfied because the Lord is present there. So, Acharya Mama Vijaniyat is not in name only. It has a very specific purpose. Acharya Mama Vijaniyana na manyeta karhichit na martya buddhaya suye sarvadev mayo guru. This is Srimad Bhagavatam, 11th canto, chapter 17, verse number 27, for reference. Krishna says, don't try to limit the Acharya. You may have come up to a high position, but will you then think that you have surpassed that Acharya through whom you received your initial instruction in spiritual life? No. Now, Manni, don't think that there is less in him. Don't consider him to be of lower position. I just just a pause here. I just remembered. I was going to share this with you. Here is one thing. Constitutionally, we are tatastha Shakti. Genuine Guru, we are told, or the function, not just look at a person or personality or a point in space-time. I'm talking purely of function. So the function is always of the higher energy to elevate the lower energy out of nescience. So now the lower energy is being elevated, and in terms of their subjective evolution of consciousness, they're coming to realize their true intrinsic position as tatastha. So at the same time, they will realize that at no point in time of their progression will they become equal or surpass the guiding energy. You understand that, what I just said? And the more one elevates, the more one will understand that I will always need that higher energy as my guide. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Not talking about a person, not talking about anything. I'm just talking purely function. So functionally, if someone comes in complete realization, they will never in their dream think that they're equal to or higher than the guiding principle, the Guru Tattva. Let alone thinking themselves to be Guru Tattva. Oh.
Like those declaring themselves to be gurus.
It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. Like, why did you come to such a high spiritual institution? Sri Chaitanya Saraswat Math. Or there may be others, institutions like this. But I know of just this. I have myopia. So, why have you come here? To declare yourself? Wow. So to the real student will be able to see this through and through. So this is, again, being displayed by, the whole thing is being displayed by who? It's for us to learn. Look, this is what happens. Even this is learning. But I just wanted to illustrate that. So this very disease that we want to cure, and we want to go and surrender and join a religious institution, have connection with that higher substance, with this higher function, this higher energy, so that they can open our eyes. Now we come to a point, we envision coming to a point where we will be that. It's absurd. Just the argument is absurd. Let alone someone actually living it out.
Trying to live it out.
Hare Krishna.
I remember, Prabhuji, way back when, like 130 years ago, there were some very determined people who would create a feathered wing for themselves and jump from the buildings. I can fly. I have a question for you, Prabhuji.
Yes, please go ahead.
The Sanskrit word Jayanin, which is in the Srimad Bhagavatam that you just read, which is Vijnanyan, which is to know, right?
Mm-hmm.
What is the meaning of that? To know.
Vijnaniyan, yeah.
Yeah, Vijnaniyan. Okay.
Acharya ma vijnaniyan. You need to know this like through and through. But then when we have this peripheral or outer this vision of the flesh, just objective vision, we are not able to see through. We're just seeing bodies. This body, that body. American body, Indian body, old body. And then by that, then we go, okay, well, we recognize because we see saffron, we see this, or we see that. So, it's can we develop a little higher vision, or what we originally started, because this objective vision doesn't really work, but somewhere along the line, the whole thing is lost. So should we go? Should we continue? Arun Prabhu?
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right, Anidhi. Back to Param Guru Maharaj. Okay. Krishna says, don't try to limit the Acharya. You may have come up to a high position, but will you then think that you have surpassed that Acharya through whom you received the initial instruction in spiritual life? That's exactly what I said, but I didn't know he was going to say it. So, no, now manye. Don't think that there is less in him. Don't consider him to be of lower position. Now manye, I myself was there. I was there in your primary teacher, in your college level teacher, and I am there in your postgraduate professor also. So now manye, don't look at only the outside. I myself am your guide in different forms. It is I. It's Krishna. So that he's always there. Sarvadeva Mayo Guru, the Acharya, has got more spacious characteristics than that of the ordinary general Vaishnava. Krishna says, for you, I am there. And Mayanukulena Nabhasyateritam. Hey Nandakishore, your name, Nabhasyateritam. Mayanukulena Nabhasyateritam. I am backing so many acharyas. There are so many acharyas, and I am working through them. The acharyas are like helmsmen in so many different boats. And I am the favorable wind helping these boats to make progress. Anukul, Mayanukulena. I am the Mayanukulena Nabhaswateritam. That wind that is blowing in the sky, Nabhaswateritam. Pumana bhavabdhimna taret sa atmaha. And one who doesn't catch that boat is the real killer of the self. I am the favorable wind helping those boats to make progress. So don't limit the Acharya, try to see him on the same level as me. Meaning Krishna. And the next section here reads, universal mind, absolute backing. We talked about universal mind. So, devotee, In his purport to Srimad Bhagavatam, 4th canto, 12th chapter, verse number 33, Srila Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada wrote something in connection with the story of Dhruv Maharaj. He said that Dhruv Maharaj was a very powerful devotee and could take his mother back to Godhead. And then he wrote, if one of my disciples becomes as strong as Dhruv Maharaj, then he can take me back to Godhead. This statement seems very mysterious. Śrīdhar Maharaj. Dhruva's mother was his guru, his Vartama Pradarshaka guru, his first guide, just as Chintamani was in the case of Bilva Mangala Thakur. Through Chintamani, that Krishna function as Acharya came as Vartama Pradarshaka. And in a similar way, Dhruva was initially inspired by his mother. His first spiritual instruction was from her. Next, he received guidance from Narada. And then by dint of his bhajan, he attained the next stage. And then again he went further. But his Vartama Pradarshaka Guru was his mother, and yet she was to be apparently left behind. The Vartama Pradarshaka Guru is the one who first gets the Kanishta Adhikari Bhakta started on the progressive spiritual path. But we have to consider the past lives of Dhruva and his mother. In his past life, Dhruva had made more progress, but then in that life it was arranged by the Lord that his mother would get him started in the proper direction. And thereafter he adopted the path of bhajan. Both of them had previous lives of progress in the proper direction, but sometimes a primary teacher may have a student who is an extraordinary scholar. In my school days, I remember there was a case we had to read about in history class in connection with the famous statesman Edmund Burke and the taxation laws passed by Parliament at the time of the American Revolutionary War. It happened that his service was so much appreciated that he had the title of Lord conferred upon him. And to make him a Lord, his father and then his grandfather were also awarded the title of Lord. The title of Lord comes from up to down. But in that case, it went from down to up. The grandson was first given the recognition of Lord, then the father, and then the grandfather. The grandson received the title first by dint of his capacity. So it may be that because of previous arrangements, a less qualified person may give a push to a more qualified person in the beginning. And in return, the more qualified person may later help him. Quick pause here. In this entire transaction of the lesser helping the more qualified, what do you see as the common thread? The function of help. Bless Guru Tattva. That is the Guru Tattva. And where is that coming from? From the source himself. From his Swarup Shakti. From him. Always. That is the way to see. We are told like that. If we are to start analyzing, well, he was of a lesser degree, and then this is more scholarly, and then this is like that, we will never be able to perceive the actual function, which is the real benefit for us. So by this example, first that he's helping this one, and then they help this, but ultimately they're both being elevated. And what is that common function that is elevating both of them? They're both being used. They're both being used. And they're both helping each other. And they're both being elevated. What is that function? That is Guru. Universal. Yes, Arun Prabhu. You're muted.
Prabhuji, at a very mundane level, one example that comes to my mind, this dichotomy that human mind has is in software engineering or programming. Most people start programming in what is known as a procedural paradigm. One procedure calls another procedure, that calls another procedure, then the procedure returns, and so on. So it's a linear, one calling the other. And then there is entirely a perpendicular or orthogonal thinking and programming that is called functional programming.
Mm-hmm.
So people who are trained in functional programming, they can clearly see Mahatata, what is that pattern, is the function, not this invoked. So, but a person who is trained in one way, it's very easy to be trained in procedural programming paradigm. And it's hard, they can recognize, but it is hard to see the world through a functional paradigm. I think when I'm reading this and Guru Maharaj saying this and you explaining, I'm kind of reminded, say, okay, look at from a functional paradigm, and thank you for always stopping and asking that question. There is a function, not how it came about.
Exactly. Hare Krishna. Since satsang, this is what? Bodhanta parasparam. So we have the higher function, Param Guru Maharaj, and then we're trying to talk to each other, listen to each other, and everyone benefits. Anilji, does our this deep revelation and understanding that Śrīdhar Maharaj is giving us about the Guru Tattva, is it beneficial? Do you derive any benefit and see any deeper vision in this?
I will not say that I got it completely, but to be very honest, that I got that something, this revelation and basically elevation, right, which is being done to all the persons who are receiving it because of that Guru Tattva, right? Either it is coming from up to down, or in that example, right, the Lord thing, like which you said, like it is going from the younger generation to the elder generation. So that's what I just got very on a very high level, but I think I got some glimpse of it, right?
So what Guru Maharaj is saying is just to sort of draw an analogy to our experiential plane or how we go about our lives every day. So we went to school. Everyone went to school. We went to primary class of first grade, second grade, third grade, so forth. And we had teachers, and they were probably our first teachers. So we learned from them. And then they went away. Then we graduated on to the higher grades. And then more teachers came. Then they also went away. Then we went to high school. And then university, and then post-graduation, and then so forth. Masters or others. But there's a common thread right from primary all the way throughout our education. That is learning.
Yes, sir.
So one is receiving and the other is imparting. So this function-wise, it's the same thread throughout. That's why Param Guru Maharaj is saying that thread will always remain. And we are elevated in terms of our capacity, the way we see things. Like if just to give a little example, a trained mechanic or the way they see cars is not the same way as I see a car as a layperson. They will be able to tell you how this works, how that works, how the internals work. This is the combustion engine. This is such and such. It's got such an axle, and all of those things. They have a different vision, and they can then, if you tell them, then they'll be able to fix it. Whereas, like me, I'll have to go through 10 YouTube videos and then fail, and then finally go to a qualified mechanic and then take his help. So that vision that develops is with the help of such a guide. And it's always developing. And Guru Maharaj takes it further to say that function, don't think that you will be able to surpass that function at any point in time, given the fact that our constitutional nature is tatastha. If we know that, if someone is Vishnu Tattva, then they're perfect and obeisances to them. But otherwise, in common parlance, we are talking about Tatastha Shakti. Right? That is what is being explained here. So what is that? So who is Guru? What is Guru? How to see Guru? So if one is aware of the function, and if one is internally adjusted and attuned to the fact that I have to progress, then you will be able to recognize where you're progressing, where you're not. But if that thread is lost, if your internal situation is disturbed by your external thing or some other desires or some other persuasions, then there has to be major external, internal recalibration and readjustment. Then you need to get properly adjusted. Does that make sense a little bit, Anilji?
Yes, sir. Definitely. But even the first glimpse of the Guru Tattva has to come from someone, right? That is a Guru, right? The Guru Kripa. Then only the thread will start, right? Or am I getting it wrong?
No, you're right. But how this whole process starts, the trigger is you trying to progress, or the trigger is, let me make it even more graphic here. The trigger is to, however way, shape or form, janma, mrityu, jara, vyadi, all of these things, ultimately it boils down to one coming to this this conclusion that at this given point in time, I am far from being perfect. I am completely imperfect. But there is this tendency in me, inherently in me, to achieve perfection. I want to endeavor to achieve perfection. I'm just talking in a general way. But how do I do that? Then the need for a guide will be defined. Otherwise, without that, then it's a joke. Does that make sense?
Perfectly, sir. So basically what you're trying to say is that you need to have at least that
necessity. The necessity.
Some kind of eager to progress, and that will make you some candidate for getting that mercy of Guru Tattva, and then it starts the trigger. Then it will actually ignite the fire. Right?
The process will start.
Right.
But if you ignore that, or if you try to short circuit it or make a display of it, then it's not going to work. There's no sincerity. You're not looking inward. I think I'm perfect. Then where is the need for an external energy to descend to help me? You see the beauty in this.
Yes, I got it right. So it reminds me of those mundane gurus, right? That they call it that we are the perfect one. Follow us, right?
See, so now, if you attune yourself to hearing real katha, then all questions will be answered, Anilji. And this is universal. Why? Because we're talking universal mind. So just as my questions were answered automatically by listening to Param Guru Maharaj and listening to Guru Dev, listening to Srila Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, the same way it'll work if you're just sincere. You just have to be sincere. There's no like magic wand or anything. You just have to be sincere, look inward, and come to this kind of conclusion that I am not perfect. I'm far from it. But I have this tendency. I want to be perfect. I tend to be perfect, but I can never achieve it because of these external circumstances, these janma mrityu, all these things. They keep coming and interfering with this process, or not process, but this tendency that I have. Now, what do I do with it? How do I make real progress? Then one will find that there is always this higher principle that is ready to guide you. It's universal. People don't understand. They just think Guru is a body. And they continue to think it's a body. They will read all kinds of fancy things. But ultimately, their outlook will never change. We are warned right from the beginning, look inward. Try to correct yourself. My business is to look at myself and be self-centered. Like I need to correct myself so I am more eligible, rather than trying to go out and trying to, impose on others. What is that? That is making a mockery of the whole thing. That is what mundane education prepares us. Don't bring it to spiritual substance. But people do that day in, day out. And you just have to look here and there. You will see it rampant. Okay. Anything else from you? Because I'd just pause here right now. The next session, if you agree, we'll just reread this part. Oh, that's all. Okay. Anything you need to you wish to share? Chinmoy Prabhu, Arun Prabhu, please go ahead. I'm gonna. Namaskar, Preeti ji, Bikram. Namaskar to everyone. And are you gonna do? Yeah. And how about your Nanda Kishore? Okay, he's not here. He's here, but he's not here. All right. Please give me a minute. I'll be right back.
Why is it like... Bhaja Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda.
Bhaja Shri
Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda.
Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda.
Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda.
Hari Haraya Namah Krishna Yadavaya Namaha.
Hari Haraya Namah Krishna Jadavaya Namaha.
Yadavaya Madhavaya Keshavaya Namaha.
Jadavaya Madhavaya Keshavaya Namaha.
Gopal Govinda Ram Shri Madhusudan.
Gopala Govinda Ram Shri Madhusudan.
Giridhari Gopinatha Madana Mohan.
Giridhari Gopinatha Madana Mohan.
Shri Chaitanya Nityananda Shri Advaita Chandra.
Shri Chaitanya Nityananda Shri Advaita Chandra.
Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda.
Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda.
Jaya Rupa Sanatan Bhatta Raghunath.
Jaya Rupa Sanatana Bhatta Raghunath.
Shri Jiva Gopala Bhatta Dasa Raghunath.
Shri Jiva Gopala Bhatta Dasa Raghunath.
Ichhai Gosai Kori Charana Vandan.
Eshwai Goshai Kori Charana Vandan.
Jaha hoite Vignana Shabishta Puran.
Jaha hoite Vignana Sabishta Puran.
Ichhai Gosai Jar Muitara Das.
Eshwai Goshai Jar Muitara Das.
Tan Sabara Padarenu Mora Panchagras.
Tanta Para Padarenu Mora Panchagras.
Tandera Charana Sebi Bhakta Sane Bas.
Tadana Charana Se Bhakta Sane Bas.
Jana me Mora Ei Abhilash.
Jana me Morai Abhilas.
Ichhai Gosai Jave Braja Koila Bas.
Eshwai Goshai Jabe Braja Koila Bas.
Shri Shri Radha Krishna Nitya Leela Gorila Prakash.
Shri Radha Krishna Nitya Lila Gorila Prakash.
Anande Bolo Hari Bhaja Vrindavan.
Anande Bolo Hari Bhaja Vrindavan.
Shri Guru Vaishnava Pade Majayaman.
Shri Guru Vaishnava Pade Majayaman.
Shri Guru Vaishnava Pad Padma Koriyas.
Shri Guru Vaishnava Pad Padma Koriyas.
Hari Naam Sankirtana Kohe Narottama Das.
Hari Naam Sankirtana Kahe Narottama Das.
Hari Haraya Namah Krishna Yadavaya Namaha.
Hari Haraya Namah Krishna Jadavaya Namaha.
Yadavaya Madhavaya Keshavaya Namaha.
Jadavaya Madhavaya Keshavaya Namaha.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare.
Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Nitai Gaura Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaura Hari Bol.
Nitai Gaur Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaur Hari Bol.
Jai Jai Gurudev, 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 Jaya Jaya Gurudev.
Jaya Jaya Gurudev, Jaya Gurudev, Gurudev, Jaya Jaya Gurudev.
Jai Gauranga Sundar, Jai Gauranga Sundar, Jai Gauranga Sundar, Jai Gauranga Sundar.
Jai Gauranga Sundar, Jai Gauranga Sundar, Jai Gauranga Sundar, Jai Gauranga Sundar.
Okay, Anika ji, whenever you're ready, please take it away. And if you don't mind, turn the camera a little bit. No, then it's on your mom then. Yeah, perfect.
Jai Satvika Shri Guru Gauranga Gandhavar Govinda Sundar Giridhari Gopilaju Ki Jai.
Good.
Jai Om Vishnu Patra Mahamsha Pravachakara Varyasita Satya Shri Srimad Bhakti Sundar Dev-Goswamī Maharāj Ki Jai. Jai Om Vishnu Patra Mahamsha Pravachakara Varyasita Satya Shri Srimad Bhakti Sundar Dev-Goswamī Ki Jai. Jai Om Vishnu Patra Guru Das Babji Maharaj Ki Jai. Jai Om Vishnu Patra Chakti Nand Bhakti Vinoda Thakur Ki Jai. Jai Om Vishnu Patra Jagannath Babji Maharaj Ki Jai. Pandit Ki Jai. Brahmacharya Srila Haridas Ki Jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vinda Ki Jai. Shri Baladeva Vidya Bhushan Ki Jai. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Prabhu Ki Jai. Shri Notama Shyamananda Shri Bhattacharya Prabhu Ki Jai. Ravinder Van Das Thakur Ki Jai. Srila Krishna Das Kaviraj Ki Jai. Saprasad Shri Nityananda Prabhu Ki Jai. Saprasad Shriman Mahaprabhu Ki Jai. Jai Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gopi Gopinath Shamsundar Radhakunda Giri Govardhan Ki Jai. Shri Lakshmi Varadeva Ki Jai. Sudha Bhakti Vigna Vinashaya Shri Narasimha Deva Ki Jai. Bhakta Prabhaprata Maharaj Ki Jai. Tulsi Maharani Ki Jai. Santa Jamnagiri Ki Jai. Grant Raja Sri Bhagavatam Chaitanya Charitamrita Ki Jai. Vishva Vaishnava Raja Sab Ki Jai. Akratmat Raja Shri Chaitanya Mat Ki Jai. Tadiya Sakmat Ki Jai. Shri Chaitanya Saraswat Mat Ki Jai. Vishva Kabir Tadiya Sakamat Ki Jai. Siddha Mayapur Ki Jai. Siddha Navadip Ki Jai. Intapan Pusatam Dam Ki Jai. Baladeva Subhadra Jumnaji Ki Jai. Shri Govinda Kunda Ki Jai. Shri Shadi Shri Gadamraj Jiyu ki jai.
Jai.
Samveta Vaishnava Mandal ki jai.
Jai.
Samveta Bhakta Vinda ki jai.
Jai.
Harinam Sankirtan ki jai.
Jai.
Gita Gornande Hari Hari.
Hari Hari Bol. Jai Shri Anika ji, Preeti ji, Vikram ji and family ki jai. Our divine panelist Sripad Arun Krishna Prabhu ki jai. Divine panelist Sripad Chinmay Dev Prabhu ki jai. Our divine guest Nandarani Didi ki jai. Our divine guest Anil ji ki jai. Our Facebook friends and well-wishers and family ki jai. I can read some names here. Madhav Prabhu ki jai. Ranga Devi ji ki jai. And Raj Bhavan Yadav ji ki jai. And everyone else who's watching, sab ki jai. Jai Om Vishnupad Srila Bhakti Sundar Govinda Dev-Goswamī Maharāj ki jai. Jai Om Vishnupad Srila Bhakti Rakṣhak Śrīdhar Dev-Goswamī Maharāj ki jai. Jai Om Vishnupad Bhagavan Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur ki jai. Vishwavarenya Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada ki jai. Jai Sri Chaitanya Saraswat Mat Acharya Vrind ki jai. Jai Srila Bhakti Pavan Janardhan Maharaj ki jai. Srila Bhakti Nirmalacharya Maharaj ki jai. Jai Ananta Koti Vaishnavrinda ki jai. Saparshad Sriman Nityananda Prabhu ki jai. Saparshad Sriman Mahaprabhu ki jai. Rupanuga Guru Varga ki jai. Shri Harinam Sankirtan ki jai. All the assembled devotees ki jai. Nittai Gaur Premanande. Hari Hari Bol.
Sripad Jairam Prabhu ki jai, Ava Didi ki jai, Lavanika Didi ki jai, Nat Prabhu ki jai, all the devotees ki jai.
Gaur Premanande.